Here we go. The episode begins with Filch at a feast giving a speech? What is going on? Young Sad Girl killed Filch in the season 6 finale. No, it couldn't be. Is young Sad Girl wearing Filch's face as a mask right now? Filch gives a toast and has everyone in the room drink the wine that he just served them, but he doesn't drink. This is totally young Sad Girl wearing Filch's face, and she just poisoned all these people. She goes on to say how they killed the Starks, but not all of them, and as she's talking, all these guys start coughing up blood and falling to the ground. Young Sad Girl takes the mask off and tells Filch's child wife that the North remembers, and then she walks away. Holy crap. That scene was insane for so many reasons. First of all, those masks are too realistic. Like, not only did it make her face look like Filch, it also made her hand look like Filch. Also, young Sad Girl is an incredible impressionist. She sounded just like Filch. Filch's child wife is probably like, "How long have you been wearing that mask? Because we slept together last night." We cut to a huge army of dead dudes walking through a blizzard, and then we immediately cut to Weird Raven Kid with his eyes in his head arriving at the wall. Pelt Girl introduces Weird Raven Kid and himself to the Night's Watch guys, and they let them in. We cut to Bastard King speaking to a big room of people. He's king of the North now, and he's trying to assemble an army against the zombies. He says that every able-bodied man and woman needs to learn how to fight. Then Bastard King and Red-Haired Queen get into a little bit of an argument in front of everybody on what they're gonna do with the castles of the men who fought on Angry Eye's side. Bastard King doesn't want to punish those men's families, but Red-Haired Queen says that the men who fought for Bastard King should have claim to those castles or something like that. Bastard King calls 2 children forward and is like, "Hey, I know your parents were jerks and deserted my army, but you guys should join us again. There's no hard feelings here." And the children are like, "Wow, thanks. I want you to be my dad." We cut outside to Bastard King and Red-Haired Queen arguing because Bastard King was being kind of a tyrant in that meeting. Also, how tall is Red-Haired Queen? She kind of towers over Bastard King. It's also really weird seeing her as an adult again after watching her grow up in those previous seasons. She is super pretty. Am I allowed to say that? Is she 18? Bastard King gets a letter from Short-Haired Queen telling him to go to King's Landing and bend the knee to her. But Bastard King cares way more about King Iceface than he does about her. Then we cut to Short-Haired Queen watching a guy paint a map on the floor. Handsome Man in Armor shows up and the painter leaves, and wow, this guy is a freaking artist. Look how good this map looks. I'm not sure what he needs that ladder for, but I guess all great artists have their quirks. Short-Haired Queen tells Handsome Man in Armor that Peter Dinklage is Legolas Queen's hand now, and it's his fault for letting him free in season 4. She proceeds to list all of their enemies and asks Handsome Man in Armor what they should do, and he tells her that they're in real danger. He says that they need allies to win this war, and then we cut to a bunch of boats with octopus sails. It's Green-Eyed Guy's family. Confident Man is the leader of the Greyjoys now, and Short-Haired Queen says that he's helping them because he wants a queen. Oh yeah, now I remember. Now season 7 is starting to come back to me. Inside the throne room, Confident Man tells Short-Haired Queen about how Green-Eyed Guy and his weird sister stole some of his ships to help Legolas Queen, as we see in season 6. So he wants to help Short-Haired Queen kill them. Short-Haired Queen asks what he wants in return, and he says he wants to marry her. But Short-Haired Queen declines his offer. She says that she doesn't trust him because he has a history of killing his allies. He says that he'll make her trust him by bringing her a gift, and says that he'll return to King's Landing with something for her, which, as we see in episode 3, is Green-Eyed Guy's sister and Poison Lips. We cut to that crazy library where Heavyset Guy lives for a little while. He's putting books on the bookshelves and cleaning the toilets and doing other little crappy jobs. They show a montage of him cleaning poop out of the bedpans and serving gross-looking food to people, and it's hard to tell where the poop stops and the food begins. If this was Hogwarts, which I wish it was, Heavyset Guy would basically be like a house elf. As Heavyset Guy is putting some books away one day, a man wearing chains walks past him and walks into what looks like the restricted section of the library. Again, if we were at Hogwarts, which we're not, which sucks, why isn't there a Harry Potter TV show I can watch? So Heavyset Guy must be training to become an old Kinky Chains type of guy. We cut to Heavyset Guy helping this person, who I hope is some sort of doctor, remove organs from a dead body. He mentions that he wants to go to the restricted section of the library, but the doctor just says no and puts a heart into his hands. Okay, I have a question. If we're at the Citadel right now, and all these guys are reading books and writing books, why do they all need to poop into bedpans for Heavyset Guy to clean up? I mean, if they can walk to the library and check out a book, they could easily walk to the bathroom and poop in a toilet. Heavyset Guy shouldn't be cleaning these guys' poops out of pans. We cut to later that night and Heavyset Guy steals some keys from a sleeping old guy. He goes to the restricted section and takes a book. We cut to Rat Assistant asking Red-Haired Queen how he can make her happy. Oh, you'll find out in the finale. Then we cut to young Sad Girl riding on a horse, and she passes by a group of guys having a sing-along. Okay, what the heck is going on? Is this Ed Sheeran? This doesn't make any sense. I mean, sure, he's probably a decent actor, he's a talented guy, and his character's singing, which, I mean, he's a singer, so that kind of adds up, but it's Ed Sheeran. I'm so distracted right now. I can't pay attention to what they're saying. It just kind of seems like Ed Sheeran, the man that we all know, walked into a time machine, went back or forward to the Game of Thrones times, and is just trying to fit in as Ed Sheeran. All that Ed Sheeran stuff aside, the group of singing boys is being super nice to young sad girl. They give her food and wine, and when she tells them that she's on her way to kill Short-Haired Queen, they all just laugh. We cut to the Hound riding along in the snow with Bearbite Guy and Eye Patch Guy. They come upon a deserted looking house and decide to camp there for the night. The Hound is acting like he's been here before and he doesn't want to stay. They walk inside and there's just skeletons sitting in a bed. Skeletons! Skeletons are so spooky, but guess what? We're all skeletons. Even the most beautiful person in the world, Mandy Moore, is just a skeleton covered in skin. I'm a skeleton. You're listening to a skeleton talk right now. I know you can't see the skeleton, but I'm a skeleton. Look at this, I'm a skeleton. I think I need to go to sleep. The Hound tells Eye Patch Guy that he's nothing special, and he asks why the Lord of Light keeps bringing him back to life. Eye Patch Guy is like, yeah, I know, right? I kinda suck, and I have no idea why I'm alive. My guess is that the Lord of Light has a crush on him. Bearbite Guy invites the Hound over to the fire to look into the flames. The Hound hates fire, so he doesn't really want to, but eventually he gives in. He stands at a safe distance from the fire and looks at it. The Hound says that he sees the wall and a mountain in the flames, which he ends up seeing in episode 6. We cut to later that night, and the Hound is burying those skeletons. The Hound has been here before, and he knew who these people were before they became skeletons. Bearbite Guy helps him dig their graves, and then the Hound says some nice words to the skeletons when they finish. Who were those skeletons? It seems like the Hound is pretty sad that they're dead, so maybe he met them when he was journeying with young sad girl and they became friends? We cut to Heavyset Guy reading the book that he stole. He finds a map that shows where a ton of dragonglass is hidden. Dragonglass, as we all know, is what you use to kill the zombies, so Heavyset Guy writes a letter to Bastard King to tell him about his discovery. The next morning, Heavyset Guy is walking along, picking up people's old food plates when a man reaches out and tries to grab him. The man asks if Legolas Queen has arrived yet, and oh my god, is this Scar Guy? That sounds just like Scar Guy, and his arm is also covered in crazy scales. Oh, and look at the silhouette. That's definitely Scar Guy. What is Scar Guy doing here? I know we saw that doctor earlier messing with the dead guy's organs, so maybe the Citadel isn't just a library, but it's also a hospital. Because Scar Guy did have grayscale, that crazy scale thing, all over his body at one point, and then, in episode 3 of this season, we see that Heavyset Guy has cured him. So it must be a hospital. Are we at a hospital? We cut to Legolas Queen on a boat heading towards an island. They arrive at the island and there's a castle with dragon faces by the gate. Legolas Queen looks at the castle lovingly as if she's been here before. I'm pretty sure this is where she grew up. This must be the old Targaryen castle. Legolas Queen walks through the castle and arrives at the throne room with the crazy throne. Then she proceeds to the war room with the big table that looks like a board game. She looks at Peter Dinklage and is like, let's figure out how to take over the world. And then the episode ends. Ah yes, season 7, where it all began. This is my first time watching a season 7 episode since, I started a year ago. So it's weird seeing all these people all grown up. This episode really had some peaks and valleys. Like, it started awesome with young sad girl killing 100 dudes. And then it got a little boring and, expository. But then it got crazy again when Ed Sheeran showed up. That scene, nothing happened in that scene. That scene was pointless. It was just there so we could have Ed Sheeran in Game of Thrones. Also, if we're talking about Game of Thrones canon, Ed Sheeran is now a character in Game of Thrones forever. That's just a thing now. I don't like that at all. Otherwise, this episode was pretty good. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Let's reach into these boxes and see which episode I'm gonna watch next. Season 6, Episode 7. Season 5, Episode 6. Season 4, Episode 3. Season 1, Episode 5. Season 2, Episode 7. So those are the options for which episode I'm gonna watch next. There should be a poll right here, a little box. Go ahead and click on that and vote for which episode you'd like me to watch. Here's a graphic to show you which episodes I've already seen to help you make your decision. Before I jump into my Patreon shoutouts, I want to tell you guys a little bit of news. My friend, who's been helping me edit for the better part of the last year, just got a job where he won't really have time to help me edit anymore. So I'm kind of back to being a one-man operation. This means that some weeks I might work a lot at my actual day job and I might not have time to do any editing for my YouTube channel. Just please don't get mad at me if occasionally I go more than 2 weeks without posting a video. I promise I'm working on stuff. It's just taking a little bit longer because it's just me. Some of you have been really nice to me and have supported me on Patreon, so it's time for the shoutouts. I'm tired. So we're gonna see how this goes. Can you hear the siren behind me? My neighborhood has a lot of sirens going through it all the time. It's loud. It makes it so I can't sleep at night. But that's besides the point. Let's talk about these shoutouts. Calvin Rat Rat. Rat Rat? Is your middle name Rat and your last name Rat? Who's your nemesis? Calvin Cat Cat? Because cats chase rats around? Not off to a great start, but thank you so much for the support, Calvin. Crystal Davis. But Crystal is spelled like the fast food restaurant with the tiny little burgers. Like White Castle. White Castle versus Crystal. What do you pick? Usually I pick White Castle, but tonight I'm picking Crystal because you gave me money on Patreon. Thank you so much, Crystal. Courtney bailed on. Bailed on? What did you bail on, Courtney? I know that I personally bailed on dinner plans to come home and film this because I'm a social butterfly. I hope that you don't bail on me and you continue supporting me on Patreon. Thank you so much, Courtney. Rebecca Froond. Froond? Am I saying that right? Rebecca Froond? Froond kind of sounds like food and friend mixed together, which are my two favorite things. I love friends and I love food. So you're the perfect woman. I am in love with you. Did I just say that? I guess I love you, Rebecca. Thank you so much for the support. If you want to support me on Patreon, there's a link in the description below, and I'm going to put a button at the end of the video. Go ahead and go to my Patreon page and throw me some fat stacks, daddy. Okay, bye.